Hello and welcome to Stage 3 of First Flight featuring the Aston Martin Valkyrie. I need to make a few corrections as to things I said and did in Stage 2 video that I put out yesterday, and we're going to get to that. First things first, we're going to get to my settings. Now, you'll notice that this is on high. That's because I was running Indianapolis Speedway and NASCAR, but this, steering sensitivity 0. I don't know when I did it, but that is definitely what I was running with my car for Stage 1 and 2. So that means this is more like a regular Aston Martin for me, where I cannot run sensitivity 2 like I normally would. So if you're finding this car a little bit twitchy, I'd suggest you drop your steering sensitivity by 2 and see how that works for you. Now, this may look like I'm just being stupid right now, but I'm doing this on purpose. We just have to finish this event. So I'm purposely going to be coming in last place. I don't want to win this event because I'm trying to keep the bots as slow as I can, keep the targets as generous as I can. This is called bot management. And so I'm just drifting as I heat up my tires. I mean, you're not going to be able to drift this car very often. So I'm getting some drifting in, which also heats up the tires quicker, as you might be noticing. And hey, it's just kind of fun. At the end of this race, I'm going to show you something really cool that some people know about Nürburgring, but some people do not know this, so we'll have some fun in a bit here. The other thing is I said Ahmed, and there are some people that's how that name would be pronounced. However, that's not how you would say that name in Arabic, and some person very nicely pointed that out. So forgive me, I've looked up how to do this, I've listened how to say it, but sometimes when your ears aren't used to hearing things a certain way, you just can't. Anyhow, the more proper way to pronounce that in Arabic would be Ahmed. So not with a K is what I've heard, not Ahmed, but Ahmed. Please forgive me if I just made it worse. I'm trying to give respect here. So I'm sure all of us have had our names mispronounced, but I know with me, if someone gives it their best shot, I'm pretty good with it. Most of us are. Okay, so here I am at 100%. I'm passing guys, and so I'm gonna have to fix this in a little bit here, and I'll have a little bit of fun. This car, boy, you know, driving this car at Nürburgring is interesting. In the dark, it's interesting because, well, you just don't necessarily know where you're hitting the brakes yet in this car. Boy, quite an amazing car. So I still have 0 upgrades, which you might have noticed. You can see that by my PR, and you can probably see that I'm quite a lot below recommended PR right now. So that's still, it's just fine. Like these stages are still very easy, but we'll see. I'm sure at some point it's going to start to get difficult. It'll start to get brutally difficult. So here, I'm seeing if I can take that full throttle. I think I can. But I'm trying to already test some corners and just see, like that I blew my braking point. Oh well, what do you do? Now, I'm not gonna finish the race right here. I'm gonna turn around and show you another jump spot that some people know about this one, but I've shown off the jump spot at Spa a few times. Ooh, gotta dodge that guy at high speed. Let's pause this, and there you go. A Valkyrie way in the air. Looks pretty cool with those headlights. Let's get these wheels back on the ground, and I'm gonna have to wait for a bit. So let's go 4 times regular speed so that this isn't just drawn out a long time. Because even here, I'd really rather finish in last place. It may not be necessary, but that's the maximum bot slowing I can do. So I'm gonna do it. Now, of course, we're at regular speed now. I'm gonna get behind this guy, tailgate him a bit. I don't wanna fail, because I think it said don't get damaged. I don't remember. No use risking it when you've gone that far. Here we are at race 2, which has an average speed requirement. And I also don't want to win this race. In fact, I want to finish dead last. So I'm going to blast forwards for a while because we've got a nice speed run coming up here. And oh, they're in formation, so look out. On outlaps, bots often drive in formation, which means one will be to the left, the very next one will be to the right, and the one after that will be on the left again. And once they cross the start-finish line, they'll change what they're doing. Okay, so now, I should have spun around a lot quicker than this because my average speed is going down fast. Oh, let's get to the other correction. I won't show it here because it will really hurt my progress. In stage 2, I said that when you drive backwards, that doesn't contribute to your average speed. Well, that's wrong. Of course, when I was driving backwards, I was going way slower, so my average speed was dropping. I was mixing up something else, and that is when you have stages where your engine can overheat, if you drive backwards, it won't overheat. In fact, it will drop dramatically. It will drop as if you're not even driving the car, okay? So I mixed those two things up. I did do a test, and if you drive backwards, it does contribute to your average speed. So disregard that statement. I did print a comment in that video afterwards. Now, I've just got to drive and got to be careful. It said I can't go off track and I can't damage the car. So it was pretty risky to be driving backwards the way I was. I got really close to going off track and hitting cars. But I know most tracks forwards and backwards. There's benefits. Did you notice? Where I was just driving is not off track. Now, with this stage, you do get some off-track grace, let's say. In fact, I think it's about 2 full seconds that you could be off track before they're going to fail you, but don't push that. However, that last chicane, meaning it's the last chicane before the big turn, that one you can take a lot differently than the bots take it. And you really need to do that if you're going to be maximizing time trials or certain things like this where we might have to really shave time. Knowing that can really benefit you. Now here you can see I'm not going to have a problem with average speed. We can certainly see that. Like here I've lost it, I'm gaining it back. Of course I'm going to lose my average speed here. Not for too much. Oh, I just lost it. Now of course, nice speed run again. Coming up, this of course is full throttle in pretty well every car, but here I think I'm braking too early. Still taking it a little bit easy. Also, I'm curious if I can take this full throttle somehow. So that time I did a slight lift. That worked pretty good. So it looks like there's going to be absolutely no problem hitting the average speed requirement. And this is looking like some long races in this stage. So how about we hyperdrive the rest of this one? Oh, I just passed somebody too. Okay, we're going here at 4 times regular speed, which is pretty crazy in a Valkyrie. But I'm not too worried. I'm going to be finishing higher up, and that's fine. You know, bot slowing, you really just need to finish 4th or back, but it does have more effect if you finish further back. I've tested this. Anyhow, that was a pretty fast lap, wasn't it? There you go. Speeding through that one. I didn't really have anything else to say about that one, and I don't want to waste your time. Here I wanted to check my lap times. Way faster than the number 1 guy. Okay. This one's interesting. Have to hit a target speed 3 times. And I decided, you know, there's a great spot to hit speed with ease. And I've really got just 1 and a bit laps. And I got to hit speed 3 times. So, coming up right a ways. Let's see. See, he's in formation. Way to the left. Next guy's going to be way to the right. See? Not driving the way they normally would. So this is the section that's a wonderful place to hit speed. So let's just see how quickly I can hit speed. Oh wow, that happened pretty fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do, whoopsie, I should be more careful than that. I'm going to go back, and we're going to go back at 4 times regular speed. So I'll hit speed twice on this one section, and do a fun little donut just because I can. This also helps me to finish pretty far back. And then I can just drive for the rest of the race because I'll be hitting the same section again, and I should have no trouble hitting speed again. So that just makes this a really easy stage. Like, let's see here. Hitting speed pretty quick. Oh, yeah. In fact, you probably have enough time that you can lift off the throttle for a bit, get back on and hit speed twice in just one section. You have to slow down a certain amount, and I forget what it is. It might be 10 kilometers an hour that you have to go under the target speed before you can go up and have it acknowledge it again. But, oh well. This works. Either way, I want to be finishing really far back, and hopefully that's going to keep things easier going forward. Remember, you can only do bot slowing when you are at or above recommended PR. When you are under recommended PR, the only thing you can do is manage the bots, which means try to keep the targets as low as they were. And sometimes that really pays off. I know there have been times that I wasn't very careful. I did test this not that long ago in the Brabham event. I tested this, and pretty early on in that event, I was getting horrible targets compared to some of you other guys. I asked people to share their targets, and it was bad. So it was obvious that bot slowing was necessary. At that point, I had to buy upgrades to get up to PR, and then I lowered them, and I ended up doing fine with that event. So I just picked a point on the track as a start point. I wanted to let the bots get a little bit ahead of me anyways, and no trouble at all. You know, you'll see that I could have stopped further back, but it's just not necessary. I'm gonna hit speed there, and there we go. I'm expecting something difficult yet. So we should be getting something difficult very soon. Boy, it's hard to get stuck behind a slow car when you're in a Valkyrie, isn't it? Gotta love the interior of this car, just beautiful. All right, I decided, oh, that was another Valkyrie. That must have been Ahmed. Ahmed, oh boy, that's hard for me. Ahmed, as a Westerner would say. Okay, yep, that was him. Now, this is a nasty stage. Really nasty stage. If you have no upgrades like I do, it's impossible. Because Ahmed will be finishing his lap in 1 minute and 29 seconds. Well, how can you possibly tailgate him for 1 minute and 30 seconds? Especially when tailgating is going to make him faster because you're drafting. So, you could do, I'm doing this. Very careful pit maneuver because you're not allowed to get damaged, and you can't ever pass him. That slowed him down, but I still have to stay engaged. And then I can get under him a bit here, rough him up a little bit. This is extremely hard. Honestly, guys, I spent about 2 hours on this. So very, very hard. I've got to be braking early and on the throttle early to try to stay close enough to him. If I rough him up too much at this point, I fail. I know, because I did it like 20 or 30 times. Now, I want to talk about my friend Speedmaster. He came up with an ingenious solution to this, and that is, let Ahmed get way past you. Let him lap you, and then follow him again. And you could let him lap you several times until you get all of your following in. I never thought of it. So here's a link to Speedmaster's video. I hope I can do this as a card link. If I can't, I'll be adding a regular link at the end of this. Just an ingenious solution, so check out his video if you want to see how that looks. And here you can see I'm gonna make it. And just watch how close this is though. Honestly, I didn't know if I made it until there. 90 never showed up. So I did tests, and if you don't follow him at all, he does 1 minute 29. If you tailgate him and draft, he's even faster. And I've reported that. I think it's a glitch. Anyhow, thank you for watching. If you like this, please press like, please subscribe. Thank you for joining me today.